Hi guys, welcome to my channel Lush Gardener. I hope you guys are fine and are safe. In today's video, we are talking about Pachyveria Glauca. Remember, I had made this video with Pachyphytum glauca and I accidentally called it as Pachyphytum. This is not a Pachyphytum genus succulent. It is called as Pachyveria. Unfortunately, there is so much of confusion on Google. A lot of images say that it is a Pachyphytum. A lot of images say it's a Pachyveria. But this is a Pachyveria glauca. Now, talking about the care requirements, it's a very easy to grow succulent, hence I have put it in level easy. If you provide it with the basic care requirements, which is soil, watering and a good amount of light, then this succulent is going to be a very simple to grow succulent for you. The soil has to be loose, porous, well draining. Ensure that you wait for the soil to be completely bone dry. Once the soil is completely bone dry, you can then go ahead and do a complete watering until the water starts passing through the drain hole. Ensure that you do not overwater this succulent, then this succulent can get rotted, so you have to be extremely careful. Talking about the soil, it remains the same what we use for our other succulents. It has to be very loose. Do not keep a very compact soil. If you belong to a place wherein your soil is very compact or very heavy and you do not want to purchase soil online, you can check my video how to prepare soil mix at home. I'll put the link in the description below. You can definitely check it out. Talking about the light requirements, it does require a good amount of light in order to stay compact. Give it a good amount of morning direct sunlight for 5 to 6 hours only after acclimating the succulent in order to get that beautiful color. It tends to get these red tips with a small white dot on the tip. It looks extremely beautiful. Right now my succulent is slightly dehydrated. As I said, it's because of the new environment, trying and working on it. If you're going to keep it in indirect bright light, there is no harm. It will do well. The only thing is the colors won't be very evident. If you're going to grow it indoor, ensure that you have a good quality of grow light. Otherwise, if you do not have this provision, please do not grow succulents indoor. They will stretch and eventually die, because the longer they start to get stretched, they will start dropping up their lower leaves and then it will not survive. So if you are growing it indoor, ensure that you check with others. There are a lot of social platforms wherein you can discuss about grow lights. If there is anyone who has been using grow lights for a long period of time, you can check with them and then get a good grow light, because a grow light is very important. You cannot randomly purchase any grow light, because there has to be a certain amount of intensity in the light in order to keep the succulents compact. A lot of people say, can we use the regular light? Unfortunately not, because these grow lights, they have a certain intensity. They have these reds and the blue in I don't know how to put it across, but they have more of these red and blue, because red and blue is known for creating the photosynthesis. Red and blue is the color that is absorbed the most during the process of photosynthesis. Apart from that, the other lights will also help the succulent to grow. The major reason why we want these lights is basically we want our succulents to have the process of photosynthesis. Otherwise, they will start to stretch to find light. Elongated succulent or a etiolated or a stretched succulent tends to look really bad, so you do not want to get into it. Apart from it not looking very appealing, it also tends to harm the health of the succulent. Talking about mealybugs, that's not much of an issue. You have to do a check probably every week. Do a routine check to check if there are any insects or pests. If there are any blooms that could attract aphids, but it completely depends upon you. If you're a person who loves blooms and you want to keep the blooms, but you have to keep a check. If the blooms are getting affected with aphids, the best option is to cut it off. Now, talking about watering, ensure that the soil is completely bone dry before you go ahead and water it. Do not overwater the succulent, otherwise it will get rotted. Do not keep it underwatered for a really long time, otherwise there will be issue of dry rot, especially if you are from a very warm and humid environment. Now, it's an absolutely beautiful succulent. Right now the succulent is not completely established in my environment. It's still recovering. That's the reason why it does not have those chiseled leaves yet. It's going to take a while for them to come up. Right now it is slightly dehydrated, but very soon it will start to open up and you will be able to see the chiseled look on this succulent. Now, this is the same succulent that is often confused with Pachyphytum compactum. So we have Pachyveria glauca and compactum. So both of them, they have the common name as little jewel. Now most of these names are given by the sellers basically because of the chiseled leaves, they tend to look like gemstones, they tend to look like these little jewels. So this one will also tend to get the same type of chisel look, and it looks absolutely beautiful. Right now it's not in a very good state, but very soon it will bounce back and it's going to have more of the chiseled look. Another difference what you can see is this is slightly on the color blue and this is more on the color green. Again, at times it also tends to get green if it doesn't get a lot of light. Right now it is receiving morning direct sunlight. There are a couple of differences you will be able to see, but this is only possible if both the succulents are right in front of you. Usually when they are put up on the seller's page, it becomes a little difficult and confusing to understand which is what. So the Pachyveria will have a little bit more blue color. The tips will start turning red, and right on the tip it is going to be slightly white. Then it's going to have this little bit of red coloration, and then the entire succulent is either going to be bluish in color or it's going to be bluish green or grayish blue in color. So these are the type of shades that this succulent gets, whereas this one just stays green. It's going to have these black tips. Again, the same similarities. The tips are going to have slight white spots and the entire succulent is going to stay green with a little bit of black around the tips. They look pretty much the same, and that's why they are easily confused, but now I'm sure you will be able to differentiate. The leaves of the Pachyveria are much more narrow. So the compactum has more chubby leaves. You can see they are more round and chubby compared to what Pachyveria has. It is more, I would say, more narrow. And now they are not very flat over here. They are looking flat because they are slightly dehydrated, but usually it is not flat. But they are very narrow compared to compactum. Apart from this, now this is how the succulent looks in my environment, in my growing conditions. If you are from a different country or from a different place, your Glauca will also tend to look slightly different. It all depends upon the growing conditions and the environment. According to that, the appearance of the succulent also tends to change over here, because I have seen a lot of pictures of Pachyveria. They look quite different from my succulent, because a lot of things depend: your soil, your container, the amount of light, the amount of watering, or what are the minerals in the water, what type of water it is it hard water, soft water. A lot of things matter when it comes to growing succulents, and according to those growing conditions, your succulent tends to look it looks quite different, because a person growing this succulent in another country will have a little bit different looking Pachyveria, but it is the same one, because we have only one Pachyveria Glauca, or maybe there might have been new cultivars that are coming up in the market, but usually this is how the Glauca tends to look like. We have a lot of different looking ones because of the different growing conditions. So it's a pretty easy to grow succulent, just like compactum. It's a pretty easy to grow succulent. The only thing with compactum is that you have to be little careful with watering, whereas this one is also the same thing. You have to just be very careful while watering. Ensure that the soil is completely bone dry. Apart from that, it's a very easy to grow succulent. Propagation is pretty simple. You can do the leaf propagation, you can do the stem cutting. As you can see, it has a really long stem. These guys tend to put out long stem, so you can cut off the stem. You can do a beheading, you can separate the offsets. Now this is a pup that is growing from the mother plant, so you can separate it. If I want, I can go ahead and separate it right away, but I'm going to leave it as it is. So once they reach a decent size, you can go ahead and separate the pup from the mother plant. So you have stem cutting, beheading, leaf propagation, and separating of offsets are the ways that you can multiply and propagate this succulent. So guys, I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe, and keep propagating.